Days before one of the biggest mayoral elections New York City has seen in a long, long time, and really a turning point for all of politics that makes a self-proclaimed democratic socialist mainstream. Guys, scandals have blown up left and right. Candidates have absolutely exploded on air. It is just wild. And I also wanted to share with you this moment that just happened when Governor Kathy Hochul said that Zohran Mamdani's vicious plans to raise taxes won't happen because she won't let it. This is crazy. And there's going to be some more stuff on today's episode of the Adam C. Moreno Show. So subscribe, and let's jump right in. So we have to start with this wild exchange. Curtis Sliwa, one of the contenders for the mayor's race, goes on live TV, and Rob Finnerty tells him straight up that you sound like a defeated man. And what does Sliwa do? Look at this.
November, why aren't you on the phone with the White House asking the president to come endorse you and campaign with you in his hometown, New York City?
I welcome the presidential endorsement. He first saved Eric Adams from going to jail. The guy was the most crooked mayor in the history of New York City. That's the other guy who put us into this mess. If Eric Adams had been a halfway decent mayor, it would have been round two, like in 2021, the incumbent Democrat, Eric Adams versus Curtis Sliwa. So Adams and Cuomo got us into this mess, and you want me to jump onto a parachute?
No, I'm not asking you to jump out, but I'm not asking you to jump out, but you sound like a defeated man already, and it's not even election day. Curtis, 2021,
what do you mean I'm defeated?
Let me just say this.
20 hours a day of a 24-hour a day.
I'm not disputing that you're out there every day.
Your candidate, Cuomo, has been off the campaign trail for 10 days, according to the New York Post. Don't say I'm a defeated candidate, because I'm fighting for Republican principles, law and order principles, quality of life principles. Maybe you like living in a city where they lock up toothpaste and don't lock up criminals, but that's because of Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani.
I do not.
I am the
Curtis,
one that can recover this city like Rudy Giuliani did in 1993. Why is Rudy Giuliani supporting me? Why is Governor Pataki supporting me? Because they know the answer is Sliwa for mayor, Republican, 2025, Elise Stefanik for governor to take out Hochul 2026, and we get New York State, New York City back on track. What's wrong with you people?
Yeah. Curtis hammered him. Holy smokes. What's wrong with you people? Maybe you like living in a city where they lock up toothpaste, but they don't lock up criminals. My goodness, this is peak New York frustration, pent-up anger from voters who are sick and tired of watching the city that they love decay and crumble because of endorsing the politics that create that reality. So this race is getting very, very intense. And while Curtis Sliwa is out there giving hell to Newsmax hosts, guess where Zohran Mamdani's wife was during his big debate? Look at this. She was teaching a ceramics class. Where? In Brooklyn. You can't make this stuff up. While Andrew Cuomo, Sliwa, and Mamdani were battling it out on the debate stage, his wife was molding clay. And you know what? I actually think this is a perfect metaphor if you think about it. And if you think that's crazy, well, it is nothing compared to this. Governor Kathy Hochul admits on camera that Zohran Mamdani won't be able to fund his socialist crazy programs. Look at the governor of New York pull the plug on his wokeness. Check it out.
We know that Mamdani does want to tax the rich more, bring it up about 2%. He can't do that on his own. You've previously said that you wouldn't be raising taxes. Have you reconsidered that stance?
No, I would say one energetic rally does not get me to change my positions, I assure you. But I do hear people's voices. I process what everybody says, but I'm also have to balance governing this state and making sure that those people who are actually the reason we have a generous, supportive budget that helps lift people up, it's their revenues that we tax. 1.5% of New Yorkers cover about a third of our budget. That's enormous. I'm concerned about out-migration of people who are the ones who are supporting our budget. I cannot make up for that with middle-class tax increases. I cannot do that to the middle class and the struggling New Yorkers. So this is the balance. I mean, this is my position.
She said, I'll give you the translation, right? She said that the math ain't mathing. All right, you can't promise everything is free when the city loses its biggest source of revenue. She just said that 1% of New Yorkers cover a third of the budget. So what would happen if Zohran were to raise taxes to the people at the very top? You know, I mean, I know I'm speaking to people who have millions and billions, but it's important to think this out because since they're so prosperous, they can actually afford to move very easily. And look at this, according to the new reports, 25%, over 25% of New Yorkers would consider fleeing New York City if Zohran Mamdani wins. And this could reshape the city. Exactly. So, what will happen? You know, hopefully we don't have to find out because, as we all know, free things do not exist. And speaking of Democrat socialist values going mainstream, look at this. There's an event that's showing a video of Chuck Schumer hyping up the crowd, but the only problem? Look at this. Do you see this? No one is paying attention to Chuck Schumer. Only everyone is paying attention to Zohran Mamdani right over there. All right. Look at that. Look at all these people just swarming around the guy. If you're asking me, I'd actually think that this is very reflective of the current political environment. This is the future of the Democrat Party, ladies and gentlemen. And to make things worse, the hopeful mayor has a new message to President Trump defending dangerous, criminal, undocumented residents. Check it out.
But if you want to pursue your promise to create the single largest deportation force in American history, or your promise to persecute and punish your political enemies, then you will have to get through me to do that here in New York City.
The lawlessness and recklessness displayed in this one short clip is alarming. I am telling you, even CNN is sick of this nonsense. Scott Jennings says that the more that people learn about Zohran Mamdani, the more horrifying he becomes as a candidate. Check it out.
I think the more people learn about Mamdani, the more they see these old videos of him saying outrageous things about any number of issues. These things are surfacing. People are seeing them maybe for the first time as they decide who to vote for, and they're thinking, what are we about to do here in New York City? Not to mention the fact that the kid has literally no experience running, doing anything in his life at all that would have prepared him to run New York City. It's the financial capital of the world, for goodness sakes. It's one of the most complicated political jobs in the world, and you're going to turn it over to somebody who has no track record whatsoever. So I think the president's right. I do think the polling shows he's likely to win because, you know, Cuomo, I mean, let's be honest, pretty flawed guy too, and the Republicans don't have much of a party there. So this fragmented field with a flawed opposition in a city that doesn't really, elect Republicans all that often, that's probably going to put Mamdani in office. But pray for the people of New York.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Pray for the people of New York. Socialism is destructive to the human condition. It makes everyone poor. You cannot tax your way to prosperity, and you cannot tax your way to home ownership. But that is exactly what Zohran Mamdani represents, and it is terrible. And moving on to what's going on with the shutdown, look at what John Fetterman just posted. He said this Saturday, 2 million moms, dads, and kids lose benefits to feed themselves. I won't have an answer for those SNAP recipients in Pennsylvania. This is the collective failure and shame of Congress, and to them, I am truly sorry. End this chaos. Open our government. It is so sad. Even another Democrat candidate in the 2020 election, Andrew Yang, he said, end the shutdown before the weekend or people will starve. You now have Democrats across the moderate to the extreme side of the party calling out these corrupt senators and begging people to do whatever they can to open the government. But people like Schumer, Warren, Sanders, they do not care. And that speaks volumes. It is so sad what is happening. And this isn't even just my perspective. Look at this. New York Post also shares this 70% of voters think that the Democratic Party is out of touch. This is the residue from the shutdown. And at the same time, look at this. Republican approval rating is skyrocketing right now during the shutdown. It's almost like people at large know who the villains are during this shutdown. And it is all just becoming so very clear. So anyways, that is the video from Zohran Mamdani to Curtis Sliwa and just this entire New York City mayoral election at a glance, as well as some updates on the shutdown. But let me know how you're feeling about Zohran Mamdani these days. Tell me what you think about even the governor of New York calling him out straight up, saying that I'm not willing to put that financial pressure on the residents. Otherwise, we risk sacrificing so much of the actual revenue that is being brought in by them to the city. So I think this is all super interesting, and I'd love to know what you think about all this in the comment section. Also, if you made it this far, that means you like videos like this, so please consider liking, subscribing, turn on the bell, and we'll see you all next time. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.